It wasn't so much a love of history as it was an interest in his town that propelled Bob Wood to the historical room of the Bridgewater Public Library.
I hated history because most of the teachers gave a test that you had to name, place, where are you, etc., and I could never remember that.
Soon enough, aviation piqued Bob's curiosity in history and record keeping. So much so, he began looking into local deeds for different places in Bridgewater. And now, after 16 years of research, it can all be found on the walls of the library's Flora T. Little Gallery.
The property that started all this deed research is located about this location, and here's the piece of property that goes from School Street all the way down to Prophet's Funeral Home. There's one piece of property in 18. And when I went to South Street over here and worked my way back, they all said they came up against Thomas Washburn's land. And I finally found the two pieces of Thomas Washburn land. This shows that his sister, I believe, got the property after he had died and was deeding it off to the other Washburns in the 1825. And property now I'm doing is down on Carver's Pond, which is located down here, and I've connected this piece of property. I have a gap here and a gap here that I'm now trying to locate.
Currently, history buffs of all ages can embed themselves in town history, maps, and photographs. Some of the unique items include a map of Bridgewater as it was in 1795, a copy of the deed from the Second Academy building, and a list of students who went there.
In the upper left corner is the Second Academy building, 1822 through 1867. In the lower left is the next Academy building that was built behind the first, the second one there, because the superintendent was complaining of the leaks in the roof. In 1897, this fourth building was built in front of the third building there. And so the building now forms a T as it stands today out in the common. And there's a challenge to tell the difference between the fourth building and the fifth building. There is a difference, a slight difference. And I'll give you the answer to that as being the windows in the lower portion.
This exhibit is just a snapshot of the types of information that residents can find inside the historical room at the Bridgewater Public Library. It may seem overwhelming, but with Bob's help, visitors can read up on family histories or discover just how old their home is.
What I have here is a sample of what I do for every piece of property that somebody wants to know how old a house is or when was it built and so forth. I end up starting with the assessor's deed and picking out the property on the assessor's deed. And then I get from the assessors the field card describing the property, which will give me the book and page for the deed. I then go to the registry of deeds and get a copy of the deed and bring that home. Make up a file folder, so now I have this piece of paper, those two pages from the deed, the field card into one file folder. At that point, I then rewrite the deed so I can read it. The deeds back in the 1800s, 1700s are not typed, they're handwritten. So sometimes it's very difficult to read the deed, so I need to write it out so I can quickly look at it. Then I make a sample copy of how the boundary lines for the deed go. That's so I can know where to start on a piece of paper to be able to properly, with a compass and rulers and so forth, draw out the deed sample of what I've done here. I could then make a Xerox copy, cut out that, and attach it to a larger piece of deed or the assessor's map and show where it fits into the overall situation. And then they know where they have property. A lot of times the deeds will say by the road, and you don't know what road that is, and you don't even know if the road exists today.
Mr. Wood volunteers his knowledge to the public on Tuesday nights from 5 to 7 p.m. or by appointment. Please call the library ahead of time to make sure he is available at 508-697-3331. For Bridgewater This Week, I'm Alicia Fortin.